Good afternoon, everyone. Saturday, we had our work bee. Thank you to the crew who was able to come out today. We were able to get a lot of weeding done, and we got new compost onto existing crops. Some tomatoes have been tied up through the week. Today, I was pretty heavy-handed with a lot of sort of overgrown crops, and in the back area there that has cabbage growing, where we've been seeing some aphid issues, I did another jet spray and was really quite thorough, but really weeded much of the overgrown auroch, some of the mint, just pulling things away, really making sure that these plants are getting sun. And that also included, a lot of the lower leaves that were on the Brussels sprouts, which you can do as well. I mean, you have to leave enough leaves so that it can really draw in the sun and soak it up and put it into the roots to continue to grow. But you also do want to keep it pruned so that it doesn't start to spread fungal disease. When we have poor air quality, when it now starts to drop lower temperature, you get dew. That can create moisture, which overnight can now start to build up those fungal diseases like powdery mildew and just even some rot of the leaves. So by removing some of the lower leaves, you're getting rid of any of the ones that are old with holes and are yellowing, and you're just allowing for a lot of air circulation. Also in our case, because we, quite densely planting things, by removing some of the leaves on some of the bigger plants, we're actually able to now get some of the smaller plants that are a bit stunted, we can allow them to get a little bit more sun. So, everything is growing. A lot of these red cabbages are a little slow to form heads, so we'll see what's going on with that. The beets are all doing well. We'll be doing a picking of beets, but also beet greens this Tuesday. So every Tuesday is Harvest Tuesday up here at the garden. And volunteers, you are certainly allowed to take some home, and the excess produce is going to the second harvest just to help our community. So we've got peppers forming, so things are going all right there. Cucumbers are still very, very slow, and it has probably a lot to do with pollination, because of that heavy smoke that we had. It's probably affecting some of our pollinators. And so it's cleared up a little, and there are a lot of yellow blossoms out. We've done some selective pruning of the leaves as well, just to really make those yellow blossoms visible. So we'll see over the next little while if we're getting much cucumber production. If not this week, I may need to have a few extra hands. And this could be fun for kids too. We could actually either do it with the plant itself, or we can even do it with a paintbrush and just go around and actually hand pollinate these cucumbers. The zucchini still seem to be doing okay. So we have beans that we're going to be picking this Tuesday, lots of green leafy lettuce and chards and kales. We did harvest the last of the peas. There wasn't much left, but we're going to be planting new peas. So as usual, I have the orange flag tape, and that's going to indicate things to do. And so we have some empty rows, and so we're going to plant more seeds. If you ever see empty spots in a row, we can try and fill it up with similar type, if not the same kind of crop, or something that has a similar growth habit, just to fill in those gaps. We also went through here and we added more compost. So we still have our big pile of compost. That is a great thing to be able to do. You can get a wheelbarrow, a bucket, and come around into the crops that are going to be growing for a little while. Tomatoes, the cabbages, the kales, all of these things, we want them to grow for a while. And so they could probably use a boost of nutrition. So just even a couple of handfuls of compost worked into the soil at the same time you weed around the crop, you kind of get rid of any debris, and then that will now help to add some more nutrition for it to continue to grow. Look at these Savoy cabbages. Are they not beautiful? If you are interested as a volunteer, come on up, give a hand to the garden, whether that's weeding or it can be helping to make sure that the tomatoes are tied to or trained into their cages. It can be thinning things if it needs thinning. But you know, come in and grab some of these leaves. You don't need to pick the whole head in order to enjoy the cabbage. The leaves that are in really nice shape, once that's chopped up, that is still ultimately coleslaw or a nice addition to a stir fry. Cabbage can go into borscht. Lots of uses for cabbage. And the same thing with the chard. You don't need to pull up a whole chard plant. You just pick a few leaves, pulling the stalk up as well, because that stimulates more growth from the Swiss chard. Cabbage leaves as well, those can always be thinned away, taking away some of those cabbage leaves. Now you have some cabbage to make sauerkraut. Beet greens, just picking a few beet greens off of the beet itself will still allow plenty of growth on the root, and you can enjoy beet greens sauteed. So there's lots of ways to help. There's also all of this dill. So if you are a canner and a pickler, you know, you can certainly come and harvest some of this dill. You know, chop the heads off, take a little bit of that nice frilly green, lovely taste, which again goes good on everything. And there's still raspberries. These raspberries up here taste amazing. We're gonna have to transplant some of these canes because this is a really nice variety. There is some lettuce. We will have a really big harvest for second harvest on Tuesday, but we have some areas that are starting to bolt, so that will be replanted. But certainly there's enough, you know, if you want to have a salad, for sure. You can always selectively prune some of the carrot tops to be able to make it a pesto or add it into soups or stock. It tastes really lovely. So it is beautiful up here, and it is growing. It can always use a hand. There are bee balm that can be cut and picked. There's currants. Beautiful sunflowers right now. The squash are all growing really well. You can always help train any of the vines to go back or weed in and around them so that it, you know, taking away the weeds from the squash crop will just, again, help to create airflow, reduces sort of that sort of stagnancy that can occur in and around the root level. And the tomatoes are really slow to come, but they are growing. So everything's beautiful. Harvest Tuesdays, work bees on Saturdays, and anytime if you have a group that you would like to bring up here and would like some, you know, just some guidance for a group that you'd like to start. Maybe you want to do Tai Chi classes or painting classes, whatever you'd like, we're here to accommodate you. So you can always get in touch. Melanie, secretary at shuswapfood.ca, and I can very happily meet you up here to help show you around. Hopefully we'll see you guys this week.